Here to discuss the future of software, his company's brand new AI tool is Aaron Levy, CEO of Box, and our very own Deirdre Bosa. Welcome to both of you. Deirdre, kick things off.
Thanks, Kelly. Aaron, hi, and thank you for making the time.
Thanks for
I'm sure
having me.
you've noticed it's been an ugly start to the year for software stocks. Feels like we're in this kind of existential crisis. And the question that's increasingly being asked is, why does anyone need a software provider when their own engineers can spin up their own tools using something like Claude Code?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a very fun conversation. Obviously, sometimes you wish it wouldn't impact the stock market as quickly, but I think there's going to be a pretty wide separation or gulf between the kinds of apps that you build internally, very quickly for an internal, workflow, or obviously the software you're building for your customers, and the core systems of record that you use to power your operations and your just the core way that you run your business. And so, thinking about CRM systems, ERP systems, document management platforms, I think these are the core backbones of how companies operate. And, maybe some companies will play around with the idea of, could you compress that stack by building that out yourself? But at the end of the day, most companies want to be focused on their core competency, and usually that's not rebuilding, kind of IT systems that they can get off the market. I would actually flip it a little bit, and I think the part that maybe is sometimes missed is AI agents and AI generally is one of the biggest boons for enterprise software, because if you imagine a world where there's 10 or 100 times more AI agents that are using technology in the future because they can run around and use our tools, then actually the platforms where those agents are operating in and the data that they have access to, we believe will become even more valuable. So we picture a world where, again, you have AI agents that are running around being able to read your documents, automate processes, extract critical intelligence from your data. And so the platforms that can house those agents and create the guardrails for those agents to operate in, we think ultimately will become more valuable over time.
Right. That's what those agents are doing right now. They're reading through documents, they're analyzing, et cetera. But I mean, it's just improving at such a rapid pace. I know that just last week you said deploying agents are hard. I mean, if you asked me a week ago as well, vibe coding is hard. But today it's not. That's how quickly everything is changing. So aren't these agents just going to get more and more capable and be able to do some of those core functions you said are still better left to the CRMs or the software providers of the world? Isn't that just going to be easier for agents to do? And
I would sort of separate the non-deterministic work, which is sort of what people do. So you look at information, you make a decision, you use some judgment to review something or move something in a process, from the deterministic parts of a workflow. That's the surrounding software that ensures that every single time something happens, people don't have access to the wrong data, or the workflow gets triggered exactly in the right way every single time. And it's very clear that you'd want to separate your non-deterministic from your deterministic systems. So having an agent try and predict what information a user should have access to, and then occasionally give them the wrong data that they shouldn't have access to is obviously a non-starter for any mission critical workflow or process. So I think you're always going to have this separation of the system of record that stores the data, that contains the workflow around that data, and then the agent that needs to operate in that system of record. And so then the big question is, which platforms can go and monetize those agents that are working on their platform? Does that monetization happen off stack? And so does it come from another company? Or can that existing software provider actually go and commercialize those agents on their platform? And I don't think that you can universally, sort of just say that there's going to be one winner or one loser across the field. You have to look at each individual platform and how they're building agents and how they're attacking this market. Obviously, we're very excited about our position because we store hundreds of billions of documents in Box, and every single one of those pieces of information contain incredible intelligence for our customers. And so we think we're a very natural place for agents to operate on that data. It's not going to be true of every single SaaS platform, but I do generally like how I'm seeing other SaaS peers executing in this space right now. It's
Kelly here, and it makes sense to me that you guys would be in a prime position. You have the data, it's the company's data, they trust you to kind of do what you're going to do with it. So I am a little surprised, but this isn't just a recent thing either. When you hear that Salesforce has been virtually flat since being added to the Dow like 5 years ago, I mean, that's a pretty damning statement. So what's going on here? Like, I take your allusion to the fact that the market's kind of pricing this in so quickly, even though we're just at the early edge. But I mean, obviously you would kind of describe this as a buying opportunity for investors that these platforms are going to figure it out. Do you think they all are, or are we going to have to wait and see? Or they're just going to emerge a few winners here?
Obviously, I can't provide, stock picks kind of across the board. I think about this more from an architectural, philosophical sense, which is agents need software, and incumbent software that, again, houses the workflow or the data, I think, is, tend to be in the pole position for powering those workflows. But you do have a little bit of a continuum of what platforms have the data that actually is useful for agents, what platforms have the right kinds of workflows that agents can kind of pop into in a natural way. And so, again, it's very hard to take a broad-based view across the board when making these, investment decisions or market-based views. But, in general, the kind of core thesis is that agents need context. Context right now sits inside of your software, and it sits inside of the data that you have in that software. And so every enterprise that's going and trying to deploy agents in their organization is going to have to decide, do I want to rebuild that workflow in a new system and have the risk of an agent running around grabbing the wrong information to work with, or answer the wrong question, or produce a contract that has the wrong data in it? Or do I like the platforms where my data might already exist, or where my workflows have already been built out, and then I want agents to be added to that platform? That's going to be the conversation and the debate for the next couple of years. And then I think it's really up to all existing software companies to execute on that vision and opportunity. And at the same time, there's going to be incredible new startups that emerge for the gaps where maybe an existing software isn't executing. But ultimately, the idea that the sort of AI system takes all of the software just unfortunately doesn't work from a technological standpoint.